this video, I'm gonna be going over the top 5 most common mistakes you need to avoid when running Facebook ads for your e-commerce brand. You're going to see the 5 critical mistakes most e-commerce brands make when running Facebook ads and learn how you can avoid these mistakes for yourself so you can lower your customer acquisition cost, increase the lifetime value, and ultimately grow your revenue and profits through Facebook ads. So make sure you stick around until the end of the video, because one of these things can literally make or break your business, and once you learn how you can avoid these mistakes, you will break new levels of revenue and profits. So without further ado, let's dive right into this. So the first one is not testing enough of different creative types. So there's different creative types and there's different ad placements and there's different people, and different people consume different content and different people have preferences of different content, right? So some people mostly scroll reels, some people like to play games and they're an audience network, and some people are let's say like to view stories or just scroll through marketplace. So it's very important that you have or you at least test different creative types. And so here's some examples. So like there's static images, right? So this style, text on the screen. So all these are just static images. This one is like text on paper, before and after, just like text with the offer. And there's videos. This one more of a real video, so somebody talks about their experience with the product. Founder style videos can be reels, can be, you know, video feeds. And there's street interviews, mostly reels or feeds actually. Yeah, so videos do both. But there's actually like reels can be much shorter, longer videos on feed can be much longer, but you have to check the content that works on each placement organically, and you can natively try to integrate your ads, or at least make your ads that look like organic content, because people don't like watching ads. They like content that they enjoy, that brings them good feelings. By the way, I run a newsletter, Growth Catalyst Club, where every week we send you a list of best performing ads and growth hacks, so you can steal those ads and copy and run them for yourself. So you can subscribe, and it's growthcatalystclub.com. So another mistake is not checking or testing, optimizing for different attribution windows. So essentially in the ads manager, like if you go on this level, you'd have on the ad set level, you can optimize for different attribution settings. So let me create a new ad set, so a new campaign it's gonna be, but essentially you wanna go here. So in here you have attribution settings, and you can select one-day click, you can select no view through. So it depends a lot on what stage you are with your company. So typically if you're a big e-commerce brand, you're spending, let's say, over maybe like 5K per day on ads, you'd want to test what drives better incrementality, also higher incrementality for you. So maybe it could be just one-day click campaigns, optimizing for one-day click. So that essentially this means that ads will learn from conversions that happen within somebody clicks and converts within, so clicks on the ad and converts within 24 hours. And you can try 7 days, and you can also add the view through or engaged view attribution, one-day view. So the bigger your brand, this can be less incremental in theory, but you still want to test it, because in some cases it's where if you have a lot of view through conversions, if you actually have a lot of view through conversions, optimizing for this attribution window can still be useful and can still be incremental. So but in most cases I feel like one-day click, if you're at bigger scale, would make the most sense. But you gotta just you just gotta test it and see what makes the most sense. But typically one-day click for decision making is still the best. It's still most reliable. So sometimes when you can check, you can see that your ads are performing well, but essentially they're not bringing you incremental results. And so the easy way you can do it, you can check and you can compare ad performance in the ads manager and make decisions without any software, any attribution software. You don't need it. You can essentially check it by going to so you can go to click on performance, and then you can click on compare attribution settings, and you can select all of these settings, and you can select if it's just first conversions or both. I think first conversion is better. So and then you would see, okay, how many conversions, like you would see complete breakdown, and you can also see the cost per conversion and things like that. So that's important to check, very important when running Facebook ads, because like some agencies would say, oh, like we made, like it's 10x ROAS, 5x ROAS, but if you, that happened when we looked at ad account and we had like, we saw 10x ROAS, and they're like, you know, let's scale this, but essentially they most of it was just sales that would have happened anyways. So it's important to check that, and cross-reference with your backend data. And also the performance in the ads manager doesn't necessarily mean a good performance. So bad performance in the ads manager or good performance in the ads manager doesn't necessarily correlate with performance, with the actual business performance. So can be bad in the ads manager, but can be really good in the backend. So that's, you gotta measure what matters, and we're gonna talk about that in a little bit, but it's very important to just check and test those, I feel like. And yeah, one more important thing to mention here is, you know, the event you optimize. So like the very, very common beginner mistake is like to optimize for wrong event. So you wanna, if you're e-commerce, you wanna optimize for purchase always, unless you're at maybe like over 100 million per year, then you might wanna go further up the funnel, maybe do some reach campaigns. So for example, Apple was like when Apple was running Facebook ads, I think they still do, but at some point they were like spending, you know, a lot of money in Facebook. And so if you're targeting the United States and there's only 300 million people, and you're spending, you know, I don't know, like $1 million a day or something, some big numbers, you can optimize for purchases. But if you're targeting the whole country anyways, like you can just do reach and frequency campaigns. So just making sure that ads reach everybody in the country. So but that's, you know, that's when you're big. Initially I would recommend to optimize for purchase always, and 7-click 1-day view for small brands, just to get that data, just to feed the algorithm with that data. As long as you apply the right exclusions, that should be fine. So let's move to the next one, and this one is account mismanagement. So I see this very often when I or my team members audit ad accounts. A lot of people spend too much, a lot of businesses spend too much or too little on ad sets that don't work. So we have like the system and rules to make sure we don't spend too much and we spend just enough to make a decision. And often it's very nuanced, but very simple one is like turn off ads if they spend more than 2x, maybe let's say more than 2x of your ideal cost per result. So yeah, so if an ad spend, if your ideal cost per purchase is $30 and the ad spend, so, and you know, and your cost per result is not within 30% close to the CPA. It really depends where the ad account is. So in this case, if let's say you're just starting out, you want to test some ads. So if your ideal cost per result is $30, you know, ideal cost per result $30, and then ad spend $60 and CPA is like $60. So in this case, basically, example when turn off. So you want to turn off, you know, this is just like an example. So ideal cost per $30, the ad spend is $60, and you know it already spent 2x of your ideal, and your CPA is 60, so it's not close to your ideal CPA. So if you'd want to optimize it, you could bring it down to 30, but that would take, you know, a lot of experience to do that. So you might want to just like try to completely different ads and see how they perform and like turn them off. One other variable is time. So like at least 3 days, at least 3 to 4 days of data. So you want to give it at least 3 to 4 days to see how it pans out. And actually 3 to 4, it's very good. Facebook is very nice that it optimizes so quickly. So that's an example. When you turn off the ads, there's a lot more to this, but I think just this rule is good. But let's say if the CPA was like $40, then you could still keep it running, get more data. Maybe it's gonna go down. Maybe you can launch similar ads, but like change things up and get it to like 30 to 25 and things like that. So but essentially, if your ideal cost per is 30, ideally you get, you know, $20 CPA or $15 CPA, so that you actually can scale. So, and then spending too little on ads that don't so spending too little on assets, so necessarily not perform, but like spending too little on assets. So let's say I launch an ad and I see that I launch an ad today and I wait 2 days and I see that my CPA is like, you know, 40 or something like that. Basically, it's like you need the time variable to control for that, because like some days have higher fluctuations, so some days have better performance, some days have worse performance. So ideally it's 7 days, but if your budget is tight, it's at least 3 to 4 days. And it also like depends on some other things like how your funnel performs, how you know your maybe cost per initiate checkout, and things like that. But I think, you know, you want to give it some time. You want to give it, I'd say, at least 4 days of data. So you want to kind of budget your ads that you're gonna spend for 4 days no matter what, just to get the results. And that's the minimum. Ideally you do 7 days, but this is a very common mistake here. The other one is not measuring incrementality. So when we run ads every week, we would assess how much we spend on Facebook, how much we spend on Google, and whatever we're optimizing for. So if we want to maximize our gross profit, we want to track that week by week. So for example, here you can see, you know, we started scaling, we were making profits, right, at decent budget. So blue line is Facebook ads, red is Google ads, and then yellow is profits, back-end profits, right? So, and revenue is not here, but because we don't really care for that, we care for profit. So the only 3 things we need here to make decisions. So you can clearly see there is a correlation between Facebook ad spend and back-end profits. So we spend more, we get more profit, make more money, but there is a point of diminishing returns with this. And, you know, it also depends what happens in the ad account. So there is the ad spend, but there's also qualitative analysis. Yeah, so here we try to doubling the budget, and our profits declined. Yeah, our profits declined, and essentially, like, the decision would be here to like scale it down, maybe to like 10K per week or 12K per week. So yeah, and here we had just like really good week. I think we launched some new ads. So, but you want to look at measure incrementality at least weekly. I think daily maybe could be overkill, but if you're spending like 10K a day or more, or 5K a day or more, I think it's prudent to check the daily performance as well. The other mistake is not testing interest lookalikes and ASC campaigns. So an ASC campaigns is like this, let's say it's the Advantage shopping campaign, Advantage Plus shopping. So interests and lookalike, these are especially valuable when you're a small brand. It's very important to test those. Even these days, a lot of people might say they don't work, they're not useless. They help with results for sure. They might be not as scalable as broad, and broad is potentially where you scale. But initially, in the, like early in your journey, and or you know, depending how much you spend, these interests and lookalikes help with efficiency. Recently, we've tested a lot of those, and interests actually work pretty well compared to broad and lookalikes for some brands. So yeah, testing those is important if you want to optimize your performance early on, but broad is probably where the scale is. So you want to kind of do both. And then ASC campaigns, it's been really hit and miss, and it's been hit recently actually. So we've seen some accounts where you can improve performance by 30% And there's incrementality as well. So it's like net new customers, net new increase in gross profits. Now, it doesn't work for all accounts, but for some accounts, those still work. If you can avoid these 5 mistakes in your Facebook ads, I guarantee you'll start seeing better results. But if you want to scale your ads profitably, there's still a lot more that goes into it than just that. So go check out the video here where I go over exactly how to scale your Facebook ads to over $1,000 per day profitably without losing your mind. Also, if you want my team to do all of this completely done for you, to increase your revenue and profits by at least 10 to 30% in the next 60 to 90 days, guaranteed, go check out the first link in the description and book a call with me to see if you'd be a good fit to work together. And also make sure to like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.